Hello, my name is Dieter.
And I'm Kirsty.
And welcome to Win Some Loosemore, a channel dedicated to the hobby of board games.
If you watched our video last time, we did a Best Games of 2019 video instead of our usually monthly roundup. So this time we're going to round up about what games we played in January, but also a bit in December as well, so that we're not missing out on games we played. Dieter, do you want to kick us off with the game we played?
Sure. So we spoke about some of them, so we won't speak about all of our December games because some of them came up in the lists last time. But right at the end, literally New Year's Eve, we played Root from Leader Games. Now, previously we've spoken about Vast, which is a game that we've got of theirs, which is a very asymmetrical game where everybody is a very different type of character,
yes,
trying to do very different things in like this fantasy cave. Now, Root takes a lot of those ideas in terms of the level of asymmetry, so that everybody works in a very different way, but they make it slightly simpler in the fact that you're all trying to achieve the same thing. So you were the birds.
I was
and you had to do a lot of programming with cards. I was the Woodland Alliance, the little mice and foxes and things, trying to get off my land kind of thing. And so I had to gain sympathy and just pop up in regions and kick people out. There were the cats that were like the ruling house that were all over the board to begin with. And then my brother was a raccoon who went around stabbing people and stealing stuff. He wasn't very kind. But each of us played very differently.
Yeah.
Like your mechanisms were very different to my mechanisms, very different. And there were some wild swings. You nearly won. And then
you...
No, Rick, not me. My brother said, she's about to win, let's make it impossible for her so she loses loads of
No, but
points.
I mean, you won.
Oh, I did in the end, yeah.
After you thought that it was possible.
I couldn't. I then played one massive turn that just won it. So it's first to however many points.
It was a complete mind mash for me.
Mental.
It is not a game. It's not a gateway game. It is.
No. We struggled.
Yeah.
We're not top gamers, but we've been playing a wide range of games for a couple of years and we struggled.
And the very nature of it being, everybody plays the game differently makes it a difficult game to teach, because you're not teaching everybody one set of rules, you're teaching all different mechanics and things.
Which is why it's then slightly easier than Vast, because Vast, there's nothing in common and you literally just have to hand them their A4 sheet of paper and go figure it out, we'll start playing soon. This, at least, there were some common things that we could be taught, and my brother has played all of the factions multiple times, so could help us, but it's not like I can watch what you're doing on your turn to help me figure out what I should do. That's just not in the game.
No.
But crazy art style, I really like it.
Would you play it again?
I would play it again. I'd like to try each of the different factions, and there's an expansion which adds to that. I don't know what depth there is in the game. So we like a game that's simple but with good choices and plays a little bit differently each time, so you have to figure out the puzzle each time.
It gets you excited to try and do it better than you did last time.
Yes, whereas this is a slightly more complicated game that I think I'd happily play each faction a couple of times to get my head around them, but then it would more be who I'm playing against that would determine the outcome, not anything that the game does. So I don't know how long I could play that game for.
Yeah.
But it was good. I'm really glad we played it. It's a lot of people's... I think it's like the number 38 ranked game on Board Game Geek, which is a big database for all board games. Yes, it's well regarded. As I say, I love the art style. Like the company a lot. Got 2 games of theirs that are coming out this year that I'm excited for. That's Root. So, also end of December, just before Christmas, we opened it a day early. We got it for Christmas, but opened it Christmas Eve.
Because we're
rubbish at Christmas.
Rubbish at waiting till Christmas Day. Imhotep
Duel.
The Duel. Now, you'll have to forgive me today. I seem to have a complete mind blank of all games we ever played. Ever.
If you've watched our videos before, you'll know this is not unusual.
So I will give you a brief overview of the games, but I may not be able to quite remember how you play them.
We played this literally like a week ago.
All right.
What's that one? I've not played that. We're playing it right now. No.
Yeah. So with this one,
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
There are little boats with tokens on them, and you're placing your workers
Basically, yes.
onto the board, trying to get the boats to then add them to your board, and on your board there's a number of ways that you can be scoring points. That's essentially the game, and then you win by the most victory points you have. Now, it's a good game. I think
It is.
we think it's a good game.
Yeah.
My criticism of it is that there are too many. There's not. I like something where I have a clear strategy and a clear, okay, I think I've worked it out. I think this is the best way to win. Even if I haven't worked it out, I like to think I have. But there's too many ways to win points, and nothing seems to be the clear way to go. And do you balance it? Do you kind of put your eggs all in one basket for one of the point scorers, or do you kind of mix it up?
Because it's random how the tiles come out, isn't it? So you can't do that much planning. You can choose a couple of scoring ways.
Yeah. And it's quite unlikely, or it's more difficult to get all the tiles for one of the scoring things. So that means to go for, like, I'm going for this one, can just be messed up by your opponent taking one boat, and you're like, oh, I can't achieve that now. And it's too frustrating for my liking. But I recognise that it's a good game.
Yeah, like Seven Wonders Duel, it's impressive how much game is in such a small package and such a simple mechanism. It really just boils down to placing out those people in the 3x3 grid and claiming the boats. It's that simple, but the puzzle of where to put the person to set yourself up, not allow the other person to take it. There's a good puzzle. I like it. So that was in Imhotep the Duel, a slightly bigger box. We got Dice Settlers, picked this up cheap. Now, mostly I got this because of the artist. I'm liking their work at the moment. They did Architects of the West Kingdom, which we had for a while, and a few other very popular games.
Their name?
They're just known as The Miko. It's Michalo something. Dmitrievsky, but they're just known as The Miko, as far as I know. Really like their work. Coloma is just coming out now. That's also their work. I really like. There's a few artists at the moment that draw me in. So Andrew Bosley, the guy that done Tapestry, back to Kickstarter just before Christmas from Alley Cat Games, Tungaru.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but it's Andrew Bosley. So I'm like, oh cool, that art just draws me in. That's a nice thing. This is a bag builder of dice, so it's like a deck builder like Star Realms, those kind of things we've spoken about before, but now you're purchasing dice to go into your bag to roll and use the different faces. You can manipulate it a bit if you spend the right resources, so it's more than just that. And then there's like tiles on the board, and you're trying to build up your little community and score points in different ways, so there's a bit more to it. It seems quite an underrated game as far as I'm concerned, and most of the reviews I've seen say it's nothing new. It's lots of mechanisms they've seen before, but we are new, so we haven't necessarily seen them all before, and certainly not seen an area control resource game, which is quite typical, which you're a bit bored of, but then using a dice bag building mechanic. We've not seen that.
Yeah.
And so that was a nice combination, and as I say, the art style goes me in. It's fine. We've only done it at 2. I'll be interested to try it at 4. or 3 or more people basically. But yeah, fine. Not one that's overly stuck in your mind, is it? Like it. That wasn't supposed to be a joke, but just so happens.
I've forgotten everything. No, I don't
But
remember.
it's fine. It's a good game. We might keep it. We might not. We'll see how we go. It's new enough that I want to hold on to it, but it'll likely end up in the pile.
Well, yeah, just the fact that you say we might keep it, we might not, makes me think that at some point we'll get rid of it because
Unlike
you're not like, I love it.
unlike the next game.
This game, it's not even in our minds to
Just be aware it's upside down. There we go.
Vindication. Believe lots of people think it's wrongly named. We would
It
agree. This is an excellent game and we love it a lot. So it is
All sorts of things. It's no one mechanism.
No.
So it works for us because it falls into that hybrid-y category where it looks like a big dungeon crawl, Amerithrash, you're fighting monsters kind of game.
and yet it's not.
But it plays, so it's similar to Scythe, looks like a big fighty game, but it plays like you're pushing cubes around, which should be dull, but in this world and with these mechanisms doesn't. It isn't rather.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you start off as a wretched what?
Scumbag.
A wretched scumbag, and you're trying to vindicate yourself. And so you've got 3 actions per move, and you can move and visit somewhere, visit a tile on the table.
Whilst building up your little set of companions who will give you different influences
and
and
you can
powers.
activate yourself or activate a companion to do things, and I love it. I think it's possibly one of my top games, probably my top game. It's definitely one of my top games, but I really love it. I think it's an excellent game.
Yeah.
And my only criticism is just for me, I mean, it's not that the artwork's bad, because the artwork's not bad.
No.
But it's darker. I don't like dark themes, and it's quite
Monster heavy and
and just dark. But I don't think that detracts from what a great game is. It's very good.
It is very good. When we bought it, it comes with, in the box, a couple of extra things that you can put in. So there's the very basic game that we played twice in 2 days and really enjoyed that. And then I introduced it to some other people. Most of them really enjoyed it as well. And then we came back and we added in a couple of the things. And normally, I'm not conceptually a fan of modular expansions. Like, either play with it or don't. It doesn't make sense to me to use little bits or maybe take that bit out and use this bit. But it just seems to work in this.
Yeah.
Like, we played with the biggest module, the monuments thing, where you've got a secondary board that you're building up and adding influence to and things, and then you don't get any of that back until you've finished it, but it's worth loads of points. And we added in the wishing well, where you just get some nice stuff, and creatures, where you can get creatures for your companions, and it was fun. And
and it doesn't feel like additional stuff. It just feels like
you've discovered something else this time.
Off the ground.
And if it doesn't show up next time, it's like you didn't find it. It's like it's good. It's really good.
I thoroughly recommend it.
Production quality is amazing.
Not not a gateway game. I would say you have to be kind of into games. It's a bit too heavy.
The right person could. But no, I wouldn't say,
the right
hey, if
person
you want to
being
introduce your friends
a
to
gamer.
games, this is the one. But
Because
I
2
think
hours?
mechanically it is simple enough. Yeah, that's right. I suppose game length is not appealing to a brand new person necessarily. But put it this way, if we'd played it last year, we played it just January, if we'd played it last year, it would have been in contention at least for our favourite games of the year.
Yeah.
I think.
Absolutely.
It would be in my top 2.
Vindication, otherwise known as redemption.
Although I did look up dictionary definition, and there is one interpretation of the word vindication that is like, okay, it just about makes sense, but yes, really, you are not vindicated in the sense that I was right all along. You are redeemed rather than vindicated, but minor quibbles. Anything you're looking forward to? Anything you want to get rid of? She's making me get rid of loads of things.
I am absolutely not. He's having a cold because he wants to.
Partly true. No, I'm having a cull so I can buy more games.
I know I do this a lot. When I like a game, the thing I'm looking forward to is playing that game more. So, play a bit more Vindication.
Yeah, and that's kind of our thrust at the moment with the cull, with other things, is we built up a really nice collection of games, and if you want to check out the Loosemore on Board Game Geek, if you're on it, you can see what our collection is and the kinds of games that we've got. And we really like them, but there's so many that we don't play many of them really.
Yeah.
And if I then get a new one, no, it's all right. If I then get a new one, we want to try that one and play that one, and then we lose some of the others. So we're trying to cut it down, partly so that we focus on playing some of the games that we know we really enjoy and get kind of the most out of those. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, because I forget games so easily, if we don't play them, I have to relearn it every time, and that's frustrating for me because I know I like this game, and yet I have to learn it again. But yeah, so just to play some of the games that we've already got going, I think I'm looking forward to.
Cool.
Are there any releases?
The newest set of Keyforge has been announced. I don't know when it's out. I think May. But that'll introduce, it won't add any new houses, but it will mess with the formula slightly. There's like a mutation theme that's running through it, so some of the cards will be a combination of other ones, and we saw that some of the monsters or the characters are two cards, so you have to have them both in your hand for you to play them by the looks of it.
I like that.
So artistically it looks less my style, but we'll see. I'll probably grab a couple of packs just because I can't help it. Although I'll have to sell things. The people that do Vast and Root are currently, if you're watching this and there's about probably a week left, running a Kickstarter for their next big game called Oath, which I've been following very closely and has been my main reason for selling lots of games as quickly as I can to get enough money to pay for this thing. It looks fascinating, a kind of political sort of action selection area control type game, but the way the game plays and ends is kind of different. There's like 5 different ones it could be each time, and every time you play and somebody wins, however they won means some cards are taken out of the game and some of that style are put into the game, so the game itself evolves as you play it more and more and more. So it's got this weird kind of remembering mechanism of how it's been played. It's very strange, but check out the Kickstarter if it's still running when you're watching. It's expensive, but it's expensive. It's expensive. It's got an X in it, but might be worth checking out. It seems like a game that you could just keep playing and playing and playing. It looks fascinating to me. So yeah, those are probably the big things that I'm interested in. They've also got another game coming out later in the year, but we'll talk about that another time. I just like playing games.
Oh, what?
So like,
what is useful for this channel?
Yeah, I mean, now...
Tune in, Dieter likes playing games. Our board game channel.
Yeah. So I'm not saying there's like a particular thing that I want to be playing right now. I just like playing games. Okay. Do check out my Mechanisms series that's just started. We're about three weeks into it. Yeah, I made you sit down and watch it. Yeah, about 3 weeks in. Let us know what you think. Hopefully it's helpful to you. That's my main point for doing it. Try and help you understand what on earth people are talking about when we're talking about games, or if you do know what we're talking about, just to suggest some games that you may like within that kind of category of mechanism. So, yeah.
Good times, happy. All right, so we will see you next month. Dieter will see you before then. He'll bring out some new mechanisms, I'm sure.
I'm already 2 videos ahead.
Excellent. So, yes, like us on Facebook, like us on, follow us on Instagram. We don't have Twitter, or we do have Twitter, but it
it's
doesn't really
quiet.
get used. Instagram's the place to be.
Instagram.
And
subscribe.
Okay, that's it for now.
That is it.
Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.